Pew pew! What is up? Keep missing. Hello, Spruce. Laget. I don't remember how to play. No, that's not how you do it. Then you gotta go here, pick this up, throw it, and then it's not even enough. So as you can probably tell, I've been hard at work working on the graphics from the good. The lag is good here too. I've just been like, you know, try to nail down the actual art style of the game. I think we're pretty close now with how I want things to look, at least for the first kind of area. Now it needs a lot of polish, like like a lot of stuff. However, I'm starting to really dig the way things are coming together. I do feel the game is pretty readable. I just added the grass thing, and it's not perfect yet, of course. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I think it does look cool. And it's not really hard to see where the enemies are. And you can sort of pick out, like if you see this game in a thumbnail, you probably will know which one it is if you have seen it before. Right? I think the grass is a bit like too tall. And it should really be growing like in the cracks rather than like anywhere. But it helps a lot with like just adding texture to the screen, which makes it easier for you to understand where you are and how fast you're going and all that good stuff. There's still like, I think we need more landmark stuff, and I probably should have like one landmark per level so you can really know which level you're at. But I really dig the way the shadows fall and they create these shadow shapes and stuff like that. Yeah, I think we should tweak the grass a bit. I just hard-coded some values here. And they're like 2 meters wide, like the billboard stuff. This is probably enough. Like, you don't need quite as big, quite as fuzzy ground as we had before. Also made these arches today, and I don't really like when there's too many of them. Part of that whole like landmark stuff. We're also like leaning a little bit more into just some kind of more of a grim dark thing. So probably the gun has got to become something more, I don't know, Bloodborne or whatever. It's a bit dark on this side, I would say. Like, could be brighter, but I've mostly been working on this. This side too could, I guess yeah. I don't want to do too much. It's got a little bit of that, you know, like when you look at a bright light and then the shadows are really hard to make out. Like if I make the background almost like a lot darker, like if I bring it down to like this level or something, it's a bit easier to see what's going on. But it's also a bit less like recognizable. So I don't know. Maybe it makes sense because of the enemies could occupy like the higher end of the value spectrum. Other than that, I'm thinking like maybe we can use the UV cords on this material to make them sway in the wind a bit. And then maybe we'll spend some time figuring out how the distribution works there, because I think also these are placed too low. It's also possible that this could be like the red sky could be a signal of like this area is like infested or whatever. Another thing I really like is that the library out here. It just looks pretty cool in the distance compared to having nothing. So maybe I'll add some like islands off to the sides. Not sure. This is something I wonder about, like, is the red because these don't have like any sort of, they're just pure black? Maybe that's a thing we could look at a bit. By just giving them a little bit of color, so the HSV converter knows what to do with it. I think it like could make them just ever so slightly bluish, and that could solve some of that problem. Yeah, that makes them a lot more they're not like standing out as much from the background, so that's good. So it's gonna be a short stream today. I just wanted to like boot up the stream and so it's not like too long between each. This fella is kind of annoying. I don't really like the way it looks. I also don't want to add more of these. It looks a bit weird when those are not randomized at all. But let's see what happens if we start animating that. I think we can do it. So just convert this into like a shader material. And then I was thinking like, yeah, let's just use vertex dot x plus equals 1. Multiplied by uv dot y. No? So now if I change this to something else, it'll be like that. Okay, so uv dot y is inverted. There we go. Now just moving those things left and right. We can do the same with z, and then we can have some kind of offset. Usually just do it with, you know, like the sine calculation. But why don't we just use, we can just use a noise texture. Could be source normal or something, I guess. The other part we probably need to do is offset this in world space. Otherwise, when they're rotated, they're going to be like moving in different directions. Let's just see how far we can get with this. Down here we should have texture, wind texture. Make it a new noise texture. Let's make it new fast noise. I think we can make it like as normal map. Something along those lines. But I don't know if that's working or not. Let's try that. I guess Vec 4. You want to read the texture? Texture. Here we're gonna need the world position. I'm just gonna go grab that from here. But it should be varying, right? So we can add to this like a vec2 of time and time times 2 or something. Time times, I don't know, 1.73. And then we'll just use wind.x and wind.y maybe. And I'm a bit interested in I don't see why this doesn't move. Is it because the sampling is not... Yeah, it's repeat disable. Cool. So now this is a bit fast. don't remember. No, I think it will. Whoa, my screen just went black. Hello? Cool. We're back, right? I think it worked. Now our wind texture is like we're gonna multiply this by 2 and subtract we're missing something. That ends. Here we go. See how it looks in context. It looks a bit more alive this way, yes. Let's give it a little more like movement. It's pretty good. Weird that it becomes red towards the green stuff, but I assume that's just how it is. I'm also not 100% loving this harsh line here. We could do something with the texture and just break up the bottom stuff here to give it a little bit less of a see how that looks, if it has any effect. It is very... It's still pretty... So I don't really have a good solution to this. One solution would be to only place them like in cracks. That might help just to sell that thing. But I also kind of just like them, have them around. The other part is having them move in the same direction. So that would be taking our wind and multiplying it by the local matrix, I think. I think we can do these in one. Which means we probably can take like the inverts of the model matrix and get it like that and have the right, which means this had to be a vec4, and then this needs to be grabbing to no invalid arguments for vec4. Hello Hadouk, what is up? That's cool. And then we have the world position here. We can like divide that by some number, 15, and have like the offset that comes from stuff not change as fast. They're all pretty messed up now. Something to be said for maybe placing these a bit more intelligently. Maybe we should take that into account at this point. Yo! Crab Gap with a tier 1 sub. Thank you. 14 months. Crazy. Part of me is missing, like when I had a little bit more of them or like bigger, we can make them a little bit bigger by doing that. Did feel a bit more something. So the higher I put this, the more strange things get. Still a bit confused. Are they moving in the right direction or? It doesn't really matter. I really dig the blackout, like the little outline shape there. And then these are very graphic. This is not great though. I can fix that by just adding on to this some value like 5. Oh wait, look. I should be subtracting in this case. It pulls everything in. Or so I thought. I also have no idea like how many can I have millions or can I have tens? No frame of reference for this. When I crank that up, I think we get a little bit too much. But maybe we keep it up there and then grab the lowest values. More. Ooh. By the way, I got new rubber bands from Amazon, not from the kitchen drawer where we keep the the rubber bands. Now my mic might not fall down as much. So if this was like Lone Ruin or something, I would actually calculate the distance to water and then have it be stronger along the edges, because you were probably like, if you were walking along this, you would probably walk close to the center, like further away from falling down, and then you would like make that work. So it's like stronger towards the edge. It's not that big of a deal doing that. But I have to do it not in the place I'm doing it right now. I have to do it in a later stage of the generation, which might make sense anyway. I don't know. Let's see how this looks in the game. Something weird going on with, like, I press play and it generates and then it takes a while and then it starts. I don't know what that is about. Oh, look at that. I think that is from me doing something dumb with here. They should get the color. Yeah, I'd probably have to do something about that. Ooh, I like how that happens. Yeah, they probably should get their color from whether or not they're above or below the surface, and just give them a little bit of something for the HSV algorithm to grab onto. In silhouette, I think the grass works decently, like when I'm just moving like this. But as soon as I come up a little bit, let's say coming in from above to from here maybe, it really doesn't look that great. We gotta figure out why it's so off from its position. If I do this, we're gonna see where it should be. It's probably coming from rotation stuff then. Can we just not care for a little bit and think about that later? We need this still. So that we don't need those. There it goes. Now this is at least there. But you can see it goes from like 0 to +1 or something. And I think I need the wind to be wind should be multiply equals 2 first, and then we need to add to it vec2 1. Subtract maybe, or it can't be 0.5, right? Doesn't seem quite right. Is this the issue now, where the strength? Whatever. You know what we could do? We could do world position plus this wind thing, which is going to be in world space then, and then we say vertex equals model matrix multiplied by vec4 world position, comma 0. And then we grab just X, Y, and Z. Instead of trying to move the wind in 2, we can just do it the other way. Now it seems to be like going equally in all directions. I think that works. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, Alfred has a new little thing for us. Let's listen. I've heard the first version of this, which I liked. Whoa, we messed up. How did we mess up? This because I rotate this or something, it's gonna be okay, I don't understand. Youth, Dan. So like, why doesn't this work? How did I screw this up? think Alfred has just been hitting it out of the park with the sound stuff lately. Like these ambient / song things are just like perfect. Oh, is it the cut his wage? That would be illegal, probably. So is it the scale that screws with things, or the offset, or can't you do just model matrix like this? What do I have to do? Is it model view matrix? So then what? What the heck? How can I make this work? So it's not model matrix, because then everything goes pear-shaped. But if I didn't move anything, it still wouldn't be good. Should this have been a 0? What? So okay, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. We can't just do that, because then it's not gonna work. Is there some other offset that I'm using due to how I'm offsetting this? No, not really. Yeah, I'll be 42 this year, so like, I think I might have the oldest, and this is no diss to you guys, I respect your advanced ages. I might have the oldest crowd of viewers on the entirety of Twitch. What do you think? That's a win! Yeah, if you just multiply or add together all of our shit, but we'll have to ask something like Godot, vertex, shader, modify vertex position in world space, convert back. 29. Okay, that's still, you know, it's probably pretty old to be honest. What's going on here? 3.0. You So here they has to do like world matrix times something. But it's not world matrix, right? This is like pretty close, but those are messed up. Does this not take into account like the size of shit? It's like the distance to the center probably. I don't know, like how's your stool? Are you regular? Do you what's your pension plan looking like? In Godot for shader. How do I convert from local vertex space to world space modify and then back to then set the then return to local space. They say world matrix, but I don't think world matrix exists. Invert to transform matrix. I feel like that's what I did. They get the world position, they add something to it, and then do world matrix inverse times world position. Oh, I should be doing inverse on this. No. Yes.
But the skyline shines with a certain light, and I know you're sick of it, but I know we're happy hour nearby, and there's a possibility that one day things will get better for the heart of
Godot isn't using GLSL. Practically they are, yes. So this doesn't look quite right. Or this world position value needs to be Because what I want is for the wind to affect these not as... Oh yeah, it is probably working. Cool. So this is where it looks kind of bad. When you just see it in profile, like... Yeah, that looks okay. Best 2D grass ever. Close. Empire. We could add a little bit of like segmentation to this. Oh, by the way, thank you, Doctor. I wasn't paying attention. Not enough. So what I think is the wind texture is a little like we could probably have it a little bit less like intense. And I think we can do two things, like change the frequency. Oh wait, it doesn't let me. Why? It lives somewhere else, apparently. Interesting. So what I want to do here is reduce the number of octaves so it's smoother. Slow down time even further, maybe not 10 more times, but double. Cool. Let's give it a little bit of life like that. And I think maybe 5 isn't such a bad amount. Yeah, so the question, of course, becomes, what do we do about this then? The super simple solution would be to put like decals, but I think those are pretty slow, so I don't think we want to do that. We also have a bug that we might want to fix, because if I press play now with something in the world as like generated, it should, yes. Whoa. So it just crashes. And it might be due to this. I think that's the only error that comes up. So it tries to boot up and then it just like, I've had enough of your bullshit. And it spews out this. And there's something here like, can't use the global position because it's not in the tree yet or something. Which would be nice if we could see the entirety of the do setup setter. Is this a thing where yeah, it is coming from this. So let's not set up if we are not in the editor. I know this, but we might want to do this in like other places too. Interesting. Let's see if this causes the thing to not crash. I don't think it should. Maybe. Ah, that was actually the solution. Cool. Drunky. Can't do that. Wait, he fell off? Keep on. I have the lowest possible FOV. Try a little bit more just to see how it looks. Still feel like it could maybe animate a bit slower. It's more realistic if it's like a bit jerkier, but I kind of like the smoothness of things. Cool, then we got the color. So it's not really nice that this is the color here. I'm gonna fix it by just saying like albedo RGB. Let's do it this way instead. So VEC3, it is alpha. That's the only thing that matters. We can just do VEC3, and then we say like we want it a little bit of red if it's above. So like we can just clamp, or let's return the maximum for the red channel. We want it to be a little bit red if it's above. So we can take like world position Y and 1. No, that won't work. Wonder if we should also like remove all the or like make it unshaded. Just have it black. Might help with stuff. Wait, we want the everything has Fresnel. We might want to invert some normals here. Maybe. Although it does look like it's gonna survive that. Let's see. So we can do clamp between 0 and 1 for the red channel. And for the green channel, we do the same, but we do like with 1 minus or something. Now it's green below, which is going to be very bright, and red above. And we just multiply this by some small number. Wait, we actually want it to be bluish. It is acting slightly strange, but I think this works. Let's take a look. What? Everything has Fresnel? I've never heard it. Everything is shiny. One thing I could do, I don't know if it would work. But if we just set the normal to be always like Vec3 up, so we're always having the same normal, but it needs to be like multiplied by the inverse, blah blah blah, same as this. No, it doesn't seem to work with the... Because I fear we're gonna get too bright things. Better. But I don't think it has anything to do with the normal. Whoa! Did my computer freeze there for a second? I guess that looks okay.
The top shelf tumbles and the wall clocks run the well. Scotch bottles and the soda guns. You missed the last train from the city tonight.
I guess I don't have to do that anymore. Different.
You missed the last train tonight. The alphabet city is dive bars drawn into pilgrims seek a makeshift home. You missed the last train from the
Here we got some weirdness going on. That might be that roughness. If we have 0 roughness, 0 specular, we shouldn't get any lights, right? Sup, Mind Rage? I didn't quite understand what you were saying before there, Mind Rage. Dude. This looks pretty cool. It's like very church-like. Oh right, we have the the particle system, it becomes close to you and just becomes very annoying. So we got to turn off the. Something. Hello, Remy. It looks pretty cool, right? There's supposed to be. Is it accelerations? A tractor. Let's remove that because that's what's causing things to look so weird. It's getting saucier and saucier, yes. I am starting to really like where this is going, yes. No. Sometimes it's still a bit hard to read, especially with. It's easier when it's in motion. Then you rarely. But sometimes it's hard to when there's too little. Like here, for example, there's maybe like too much that's in light. There's not enough texture on the ground stuff. Is the grass casting shadows? Yes, it should be. But maybe only from one side because of the normal. I'm just using one quad and turning off occlusion culling or back face culling. Right, we have to take a look at how things look on this side. I believe this is looking pretty sweet. They are getting a little bit too much red in them on the flip side. The enemies. Like, I don't see any shadow casting going on. Here, for example, like when I'm running like this, I think the game looks a bit dull. But as soon as you like looking up a little bit, and we got that stark contrast towards the sky. See, this guy could benefit from a little bit less red. I guess we're gonna redo them anyway. This guy looks okay. I kind of want this amount here. Also a little bit interested in moving or like adding sort of a glow around them. Let's take a look at that. But first, I think we should just save this because we're in a decent place.
Like adventures, you gotta meet people, and all this. It's sort of like an adventure, big adventure. It's fun.
So like this guy, we can start there actually. This one goes below, it becomes this red. Let's check if we can tweak that amount of. This doesn't do anything right now. I think I just procedurally set that in the shader. That looks a lot better in my mind.
Although it looked innocent enough, this machine turned out to have some unusual powers. It kept kids
It can.
mesmerized for hours.
Depends on what look you're going for. Having good shadows on grass actually makes it anchor the grass to the ground a bit. Thank you, Remy. Thank you so much. Remy's over on YouTube if you don't see the shots. So this is another thing I think we should just remove. When we're shooting these guys, there's a pushback. I don't think that's needed, especially when they're close to edges. It introduces weird like behaviors. It's still pretty red. If you're like looking closely at the grass, it doesn't look that good. But if you're not really paying attention, it's okay. I think it's mostly the placement where it's like randomly without any like distribution or anything. I wonder if we want to... the way I could see it done is to take... use the... instead of doing it like at a block level, we'll do... take the nav mesh and then sample a grid around the nav mesh. Sample for the closest positions on the nav mesh. And if it's close enough, do like ray casts. We don't really need to do ray cast, do we? Maybe, maybe not. We do that on the nav mesh anyway. And then we can detect how far the sample, like we randomly sample a grid over the entirety of the arena. I think you're right, Grey Feather. I think it's a little bit tall, maybe. We can tweak that too, especially if we're redoing it. But then if we take a sample and it gives us the closest point on the nav mesh, and that's quite far, that means we sampled outside of the nav mesh, and then we can like make that point bigger because it's like closer to the edges. There are other ways of doing it. We could do like a blurred bitmap version of the top side or something. Or we could actually do it on... Because here... Whoa. Strange. But here you can see the shadows a little bit at least. It's not that strong in the game. Well, I don't know. If I set it to be lower, like half the height at max. Maybe that's better for us. What? Where'd it go? Very slow implementation of that technique. I think you can use mostly the same route as Sub has the like super low times with. You just have to be not doing that. There's something about this green here where it's it's almost better looking when there's less Fresnel. Here did they just jump to their death? There's someone left? What? We had a bug somehow and... time just keeps going. Well, that's cool. Then we can explore this look a bit without having to fear for monsters. So, not sure what happens there. It would be nicer if it didn't have that. Is it the... yeah. I think I know what that is. I think we should be able to see it in the editor so we can tweak it a bit. It's a bit slow to start now. We actually can't... I think we really need like a good moon texture, don't we? Up in the center there. You can sort of see it here, and that really doesn't look like the thing I was thinking. Okay, well, never mind then. Okay, so do we go for the what time is it? 4? Do we try to go for doing a better distribution of the grass? I think we should, because this doesn't look that great. So how do we do it? We could use... think I'm probably thinking too far ahead, but we could use some sort of a bitmap and then carve, like, pick some points and then draw lines and carve in that. Do something like that. But an easier approach would probably just be use the nav mesh. Wow, the nav mesh is not looking good. That's not good. That looks better though. That probably is gonna change a lot when it comes to how enemies behave. Because the nav mesh has been broken for a while then. So what we could do is grab the extents of the nav mesh as a grid and then just sample points, asking all of these positions and get the closest point on the nav mesh for all of those. There is a threshold value so that if it's sampling from too far, it'll not find a good point. I wonder how slow this is. I don't think it's that slow. We can probably do it in like some amount.
Vehicles each sold separately with 2 figures. Batteries not included. Atari Games has brought you a constant stream of steady hits. Video games which have had the excitement and depth to keep players coming back.
Yeah, let's see what we can do. We've got bake navigation mesh here, and afterwards we'll have to do the is this on tread? It's true. If we make that false, because we sort of have to if we're gonna, alternatively we could see how this feels. That feels like it takes a lot longer. Let's see what happens with nah, that's really fast in game. No worries. Cool, quit. Sure then, we can can we get like the plays foliage? Have to turn this off on the slab somehow. Easiest way, just comment out the code. Go on. Just make sure it still works when I do this. Yeah. These are hand placed, so those aren't gonna be affected. Cool. So Now we gotta figure out how many samples we're gonna have or something. So one way of doing it would be to grab all... I'm just thinking, like, can we get the bound somehow of this? So there are cells. There's something with cells that we can get. We can get all the polygons. Is there a bound? So what I think what we can do is get all the is there a packed in 32 array, and then we gotta get the vertex, I guess. Okay, we can't do that. For the sake of just moving forward, let's do something else. Let's just say we sample a circle around something. So we have like a radius here. I guess it's ocean radius we use, which is quite big. Let's just set it to 50 to start with. And then we can do like 4z in range minus foliage radius to foliage radius, and then x. How do we do like overlapping things? That's not gonna work, is it? Console ports. I don't have any. I don't want to do console ports if I don't get any like huge investment of people. these are doing some ray casts. Definitely shouldn't do that. Let's get some stuff in here. I'm gonna put in like a little sphere or something that we can use for easier. Yeah. So now instead, what we want to do is query the navigation mesh. We can do like sample closest point on. The heck? This is how you do it. I mean, what we also could do is have like a 2D array, and for each sample we do in this, we could remember the distance to, or like how far this was off. But I guess it's just if it's not on. If it's not in the... We want it sort of the opposite. So I don't know. Where's the mirror? We do the mirror here. Ah. Sort of have to do this before the mirror then. Right? I think I do a lot of this maybe I don't. Ownage thing. I can do that only at the end if I wanted to. I think that should... Where do I use ownage? So add the entire mirror. I can do it just on the level root, I think. Let's get rid of this. Right, we do need to do it on both the level root and the mirror. But then we're golden. Cool. Do we have to save this, or can we? I guess it'll work. If we regenerate now, cannot get edited scene root of a null value. Was that now, or was it? Still very angry with parameter data tree. Okay, wait, that's in block 2. 214. So block tool tries to shouldn't need that. So everything is gonna get added here. That said, it's getting worse. Damn it. Are we getting this even in run mode? Get a bunch of them. I don't know if it's not the same. It's something else. Well, uh-oh. I think it just printed a whole bunch of his. Ah. So we actually want to offset it a little bit from 0. And then we want to ignore Position. No. Shouldn't I be able to do this some other way? Flat. Delta. And then we can do like delta. Flat. Length. This should now be instead the closest, I think. Is it happening? Hard to tell. But this one now doesn't have all the child stuff in it. Which I don't like very much. Were my assumptions wrong on that thing? Note how it was still outputting stuff there. I think we might have to reopen. Uh-oh. Check it out. Works. It didn't seem excessively fast, to be honest. And also, is the nav mesh actually updated? It doesn't seem like it is. It seems like it's using like an older version of the nav mesh. So we probably have to do another wait. After here. See if that works. It probably would work in the run game, but so in the best of worlds it would work now. Really slow, but yeah, it does work now. Just to see how it looks when it's this dumb. It's definitely quite a bit slower. But we're also creating a bunch more of them, so it also seems like they're slightly above the ground. So we need to offset that. But I don't know, man. It's this is also a bit strange. Why is there nothing here? There. Ah, it's because there are things below that gets the thing. Okay, so we know this is possible. I don't know. Maybe we should offset more. Let's do like 20 above or something. So we don't get into those problems. This is... Yeah, I don't know. Another way of doing it would be to do like ray casts on each of these points and just see where we hit stuff. And then if we don't hit anything, if you're like... Then we can like take that buffer, save it, blur it, and then we'll have like more along the edges. It does seem like a bit of a unnecessary, because they're looking at this level, for example, all of this had to be sampled and kept in a thing. I'm not sure we want to... Doesn't seem like a good idea, this. Should we write down our wants? What do we want? We want to somehow have taller grass either closer to the water or closer to like a tall, like a big height difference, or less vegetation close to the center of a block. Now in C sharp, this wouldn't be a big deal to just like, at least in Godot, it's like just do a bunch of raycasts and it's not that bad. Get the height at each position, save it to a 2D array, go through the 2D array, blur it, or just do some checks every time you want to spawn something. What's the closest to a height difference thing or something? But even better would be to somehow author it into the nodes, because since we have these building blocks, we don't really need to do it every frame. We could populate all of these with like a bunch of points where it could spawn some sort of foliage. I don't know, man. seems... It seems a bit wasteful. We could also just hand place a bunch of this. Without running into a huge amount of problems. A little bit thicker. That's good. Yeah. Hand placing, like, it doesn't need to be procedural in that sense. Because it would be easy to just like paint along the edges somehow. Come on now, fam. Help me out here. What should I do? Could do a lot of this on the GPU. Or if we do it, or like the major parts of it, compile time, so to speak, like here, I select this and I press a button and it calculates like where to place a bunch of this, because I do know the bounds of certain things. The problem is that this one can connect like here and here, and this one can connect like in two places. You don't really know where there's gonna be a connection. Come on. Got logged out from Messenger. Wonder if that's a bad thing. Did they update something? Because this is broken now.
Whatever will be, will be. Don't care what anyone else thinks.
You'll be okay. I promise. Just keep on keeping on.
Change the grass size based on the height in the vertex shader. That can't quite do that.
I still have breath in my lungs. You will feel it when you know. Life is worth the risk.
It's gonna check. So something is up with my Facebook account, I think.
Don't ever give up. Everything worth doing is hard.
The only time that matters is right now.
I think I haven't been hacked, but
Live life to the full, because you never know what's around the corner. So let's take a part of the world and make it our own.
Don't let the bastards grind you down.
You see me.
There's no fate but what we make for ourselves.
no email about something changed my email or password on Facebook, but I can't log in.
Expect nothing and appreciate everything. It wasn't worth it.
Facebook is down. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't. One sec. Just got to make sure it's not my. Oops. Why? I think it's just broken. Annoying. Probably. Cool. I'll worry about that later then. Okay. Hej. Välkommen hem. Alltså? Okay. So is there a way to do this very efficiently? Either by hand, because I don't have that many of these. Or mechanically somehow. Beeper updates. Facebook Messenger is having some issues. Okay, gotcha. No need for bug reports, they say. Yeah. Sweet. Tell me now, what do we do with this? Hybrid approach. We on each level module in beforehand, say for example this guy. Yeah, I remember that. There's something going on there. So imagine this. We have the size of this, right? Each module can have a set of points on it that we can spawn things on. So that eliminates the problem of like querying a lot of water stuff. So we could do a grid scan of this, create a bunch of potential spawn points, and sample for each point. We sample the cardinal directions or 9 stuff around it and just see the distance in height that those points have. And then we give, if there's a big distance in height, we give those points a higher potential for having a bigger grass thing, something like that. How would that feel? So here would be like, oh, there's a lot of difference in height here. So these will get a higher size multiplier. You'd put taller grass here. Here, there's not a lot of difference in height. So we just, it's gonna get a low score. Around the edges, say we do the position sampling at design time, and then do the delta. It would be cool if we could do that. Where it wouldn't work well is like where there's some other piece connected here. I don't see how we're gonna resolve this for this. I don't think we can do it today. That's what I'm trying to say. Is it? This is now a bit broken, I don't know why. Doesn't matter. So if I were to take this and like see it from above, which is not very visible. Okay. We do the fog in a different way, maybe. But yeah, we could like wrap a bitmap around and draw white pixels wherever there is land or something like that. With the height, we can just make a height map with X number of pixels. And then we can sample that when we want to do these things. I don't know. even when these are instantiated, we do have this collision shape here, which is like a volume that we can use. So for every module we have placed, we can query, find this collision shape, get its world positions, and only sample within that and do something with that. So go through all the modules and find its collider's collision shape 3D. Use the information there to get like the bounds, query everything within that bound plus a little bit maybe. And say how close is this to water, or how much of a height difference is there. We make a little marker thing. Like a low res sphere. Perfect. It's a little bit ugly. Rings is the one I think I need more of. It's so wonky. Good enough. Way home. Give me a way. I think I didn't name the foliage node. So I don't know why it does this though. That's strange. bet that offset there is readable from somewhere. I think it's 0.25. It's actually half. Why it does this, I don't. Yeah, that's still strange. Ooh, this is slower, which means it probably works. It's called region, or what was it called? Navigation mesh. What data does live in this? Get vertices we can use, by the way. I'm thinking something like, what if I had a camera above that took a picture, just saved the depth values rendered at each point, ignoring things that are too far off, and then I can read from that to determine how big shit should be. And that could be a little bit low res, so it would figure things out. I don't know. That's how I did it in, I think, in Lone Ruin in Unity. Monotone is faster. Not that I think it matters, but we're also missing like all of this. Like, why doesn't it do that? Is that about the center is here, so I'm trying to come up with a way to do a nice distribution of foliage on this snowman gore. And to do that, I would have to somehow... Whoa, this has good results, but it didn't work here for some reason. It's a bunch of balls. I think what I should do is just paint it by hand and ignore... No, it'll be bad because... So here, for example, this piece will, at design time, will not know that there's going to be a stair here. So I could... It could be that there is nothing here, or there could be a stair there. And this then should have less, but this should have more. Yeah. Random Voronoi texture, yeah. I mean, I have the nav mesh. That's what I'm using now. So it's just that I can't really. And now I'm sampling like a large radius here, and all of these samples are getting like not used. But I could read the polygons in here actually. The actual like polygons. What would that help? This is probably outside of the radius. Ugh, I don't know, man. This is tricky. So it should be a pretty simple Nej, det funkar inte. Det ja. Ja. Like taking a triangle, bunch of points, and just getting all the positions within that triangle shouldn't be that hard. kind of like the idea of just rendering the entire level to a orthographic camera from the top, ignoring some parts. We could just set those as to not render to that camera, and then we get a depth map per pixel, which would take into account stuff like this. Even if it's bad, it should be really fast to just capture that, and then we can query that texture somehow. I think my brain is a bit spent at this point. Yeah. And if we did that, so we did capture the depth and we captured some channel. De är utanför nu, Sofie. Then we get some really good info. Then we could have another texture on each that we can just paint on, like potential paths, for example. Yeah, I think get rid of this for now and enjoy slightly faster generation times. And then we go to block tool, turn this back on and wait. These are messed up. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're gonna cut it here. I'll think about it more, see where we can come. Hello, I'm just gonna
You can't let the colors like overlap too much, then it becomes just a blob.
raid. Oh,
People applying for position.
cool. So if you like what you saw,
Saying 100 people
please
applying for
wishlist the game over on
one-time link and showed you 400.
here. And yeah, be nice, and we'll see each other soon. Hugs.